Jody. Can you hear me?
I can. How can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
All right. We're going to allow just another minute for everybody to get into the room, and I'm going to introduce you, and then we're going to see if we can get the slides running on your end.
Okay.
A lot of people I saw the other day. Crystal, Elizabeth Poole. Oh, such wonderful people here today. Sorry, I'm bouncing around.
No problem.
All right, and I am going to put into the chat a Google form for Jody's slides. We found that yesterday we shared.
I'm going to share mine. Is that correct?
Yes, but you sent me a PDF, and we found that yesterday a lot of people really wanted a PDF of people's slides to get back to because they're just so chock-a-block of good information. So I created this little form so people will contact me and I can share it with them. But yes, we'll still have you share your presentation on the screen. So let me just introduce Jody Wright. Today she'll be talking about supporting delayed bonding with babies that are fostered and adopted. Jody Wright is the parent of 5 grown children who are adopted. She massaged them as babies and found infant massage, adoptive breastfeeding, sharing nighttime space, using a carrier, and more contributed to lifelong closeness. She has been an infant massage educator and trainer since 1984 and was one of the founders of the International Association of Infant Massage. Jody is trained as a lactation counselor and a childbirth educator and has served as a La Leche League leader for 20 years. Currently, she teaches infant massage education for Infant Massage USA and gives IAIM instructor trainings around the world in most recently Brazil, Haiti, and China. All right, Miss Jody, I will stay with you as you try to share your screen.
All right. Is something coming up to invite me to share it, or do I need to press a button?
You need to press the little computer-looking button underneath our little videos right here. And a pop-up should have a drop-down menu.
No, that's not it. That's not it. I'm not sure what I'm looking for, Stephanie.
So in that row of 5 buttons, it's a computer screen that looks like a monitor with a little line through it.
All right. There we go. Did that work, Stephanie?
Yes, I can see your presentation, so I'll stick with you just a moment and we'll see if we can make it a slideshow and if it goes through the slides.
Okay.
Because you might have to put it in presenter view instead of hitting play from start.
Okay. I'll try that. Did that do it?
Could you just try to scroll through a slide for me real quick? There we go. Go back to the first slide and you've got it, Miss Jody.
Okay.
And I'll leave you to it and I'll be back to do chats with you later.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be with you here today. I wanted to find out who I'm with. So I was going to use a chat poll, but of course I can't see the chat, so that doesn't help. Stephanie, are you still there? No. All right. So I'm wondering who the people are who are here, whether you're an adoptive parent, a foster parent. Do you work with adoptive or foster parents? or you just want to teach infant massage to adoptive parent or foster parents? Are you a certified educator of infant massage? And now I realize I can't see the answers to those, but at least you guys will know the answers if you put in the chat.
Here, a lot of people are saying they were trained by you.
Okay, welcome. Glad to see you all again and have you here. Anything else?
Nope, it looks like it died down for now. Oh, here we're getting some answers. I'm a CM who wants to teach IM to foster and adoptive parents from Don McCarthy. Christine says a childless CM. Hello, Jody, former students of yours from Marcella. Elizabeth Poole says I'd like to teach to adoptive or foster parents. And Miss Tracy says a CM working with an ECI program, and Diana is a pediatrician and a CM. I'm an infant teacher working with adoptive and foster parents from Haley, and Jill says pediatric OT working with adoptive families and early intervention. Almost done with my practicum. Congratulations.
All right, so let's move on. I wanted to start out first by talking about my own family. And so this is a picture of my family, about 20 years ago. And I used this picture when I was adopting my last child from Haiti. And so I remember it from then. So I adopted 2 children, gave birth to my 3rd, and then adopted 2 more after that, including an 11-year-old. I massaged the children who were babies, and I did not massage the 11-year-old more than rubbing her back a little bit. And I really enjoyed doing the massage with them. I became a infant massage instructor by the time I had adopted my 2nd child. I practiced what was later called attachment parenting, carrying my babies, sleeping with them, staying with my babies, and I breastfed both my adopted and my birth babies. And that gave me a lot of chances to be intimate with my children, to bond with them, and they have all turned into wonderful adults. And I think that our close relationships, were because of the massage and because of the breastfeeding and the carrying. I wanted to share with you a picture that we took this weekend when I had all of my daughters and partners and grandchildren here. And so I thought you might enjoy that. I wanted to talk about infant massage for families who adopt or foster their children, and also think of it as what we're talking about is about delayed bonding. It's about not following the usual process of having the baby be born, ideally put onto the mom's stomach as the baby's born, being held in the parent's arms immediately after the birth and making that connection. Oftentimes, there are other reasons for adoption or fostering that delay that connection, such as being separated by illness, and thus having a delay, maybe being separated because the hospital's policies are not so supportive of bonding and attachment. Also, a parent may find that they have trouble bonding with the child right after the birth, and so there may be a delay in the process because of that. We're going to look at adoption and fostering in the USA. We're going to talk about research and articles available on this topic, talk about benefits of infant massage for families who foster and adopt. We're going to talk about the process of creating a new family, of developing family intimacy with a new member. And we'll talk about specifically about teaching infant massage to families who foster and adopt, other suggestions for helping a family develop a bond, and resources and stories. And in between here, at different places, I have put in some stories that I have collected, mostly from certified educators of infant massage who have shared their stories of working with families with me. Let's look at adoption and fostering in the USA. 400,000 children are currently in foster care in the USA. 117,000 of those are waiting for permanent placements. 58,000 children were adopted in 2020. And the peak age for public agency adoption is 2 years old, and the median age is 8 years old. So I thought that would give us a sense of what's happening with adoption and what's happening with foster care in our country. If there's 400,000 children currently in foster care and 117,000 of them are waiting for permanent placements, then there's a lot of kids that are not yet available for adoption, or not considered adoptable, or have moved into a perhaps a teen situation where they're in a group home and are not looking for adoption. 58,000 children were adopted, but there's 117,000 waiting for permanent placements. Then we've got a lot of work to do to provide homes for all of the children in our country. I tried to find research on fostering and adoption and infant massage, and I ended up with just a few articles that that came across under both of those topics. One of them was by Dozier, Bick, and Bernard, identified 4 important fostering issues that should be considered when we teach families. The first is babies in foster care often do not know how to seek comfort from their foster parents. I remember this with my second daughter. I adopted her in the Philippines, and she was about 2 months old when I met her. And when I tried to hug her and hold her close, she would push away from me with her hands and push her head out. And that I just found that the best thing to do with her was to give her really quick hugs so that she didn't feel suffocated in any way by them. And so she got more and more used to getting hugs. And it wasn't very many weeks before she was able to seek and accept hugs and love. The second one was young children in foster care often experience dysregulation, being passed around, experiencing trauma, feeling like your basic human needs as a baby are not being met. Keep a child from being regulated in their daily life. And we know that infant massage, when it's done on a regular basis, helps bring a regular schedule into a child's life and somehow helps with this dysregulation. So it's something that infant massage can help with. The third one was foster parents' own issues sometimes interfere with their providing sensitive, nurturing care. Certainly this is true of normal parents, birth parents also, and adoptive parents, that our own issues get in the way of being the kind of parent that we want to be. And sometimes our own lack of experience in a healthy, strong, giving family can make it hard for us to be healthy, strong, and giving parents ourselves. The fourth one is foster parents are sometimes told not to become attached or not to think of children as their own. And so this issue of whether we should help a child bond to us when we know that they're not going to be permanently with us, or when they're likely not to be permanently with us, is a really important one that will come up several times in our discussion today. This came from an article, Intervening with Foster Parents to Enhance Biobehavioral Outcomes Among Infants and Toddlers. And it was from 0 to 3 to 2011. Another piece of research I ran into is fear of potential grieving by the foster parent, or a belief that you can protect the child by not developing a bond. Promoting attachment in foster parents, what we can learn from the experience of parents of premature babies. Here, the researcher, Ms. Gribble, looked at the things that helped a parent who has a premature baby to bond with their child, and said if these are helping families who have been separated from their baby by the NICU, then maybe they are also things that can be utilized by families who are having foster children and have been separated because of changes in life. Foster parents may have difficulty attaching to the children placed in their care because they fear the grief that they will feel if a child is removed. The parents of premature babies are another group who may face difficulty attaching to their children owing to the fear of loss. And parent premature infant attachment can be assisted by the promotion of close proximity and nurturing touch, aiding parents to interpret their child's cues and understand their needs, and through providing caregiving. And these findings provide guidance in the methods by which foster parent-child attachment can be promoted. So that was an interesting piece of research to look at in this field. And I want to share a story with you. Annabelle Weekly Lima mentioned yesterday that she was working with fostered and adopted children. And so I contacted her and we talked together, and she shared this story. She is from the Exchange Club Family Support Center in Downey, California. She said when the center started online classes during the pandemic, the majority of their referrals began to be for foster families, NAS, and adoption. Most important in the work was to be flexible. Often the babies are crying and not ready for massage. So it takes a period of time for the baby to get into the right state to experience touch. Their wake and sleep cycles are confused. So the parent can't predict when a good time to set an appointment is. And they often have special needs and health issues. The foster adoptive parents need to be supported to learn the baby's cues to use serve and return communication with them. And this isn't something that is often not well taught in our society. Often parents will move in and try to control the communications with a child rather than responding to what the child says. And this is one of the important things that we can teach as infant massage instructors. Often grandparents are the fostering or adoptive parents that they work with. They may have very complex households with several children and a lot going on in the home. One family that they worked with at the center was fostering a 2-month-old baby who was exposed to fentanyl, alcohol, and trauma. The baby was underweight, jittery, and going through extreme withdrawal, even at 2 months. The foster mother agreed to an infant massage class. She received 2 classes, and then the foster mother got sick and missed 3 weeks, but continued to do the massage. Though the baby was originally placed with the intention of adoption, the foster parent was required to allow the baby to go on an overnight visit to the paternal grandfather's house. The baby cried nonstop, could not urinate, became extremely agitated and dysregulated. Upon returning to the foster mother, it took the distraught baby 3 days to recover, before they were able to do an infant massage class with the baby. In the infant massage class, the baby lifted each leg and began to smile, later to eat again. They extended the class for additional weeks to support this mother and her baby as they reunited with each other after this traumatic separation for the child. Another piece of research I thought you'd like to know about is one that's listed on the Infant Massage USA website. It's Bonding Manters, The Chemistry of Attachment by Linda Palmer. And in this article, Linda talks about oxytocin is a chemical messenger which was released in the brain chiefly in response to social contact. And it's particularly pronounced with skin-to-skin contact. And I think any of you that are infant massage instructors have heard about oxytocin and the important way that touch promotes the development of a hormone that helps us build families and helps us feel closer to family members. It promotes bonding patterns and creates the desire for farther contact with the individuals, inciting its release. Opioids, pleasure hormones, are natural morphine-like chemicals created in our bodies. They reduce pain awareness and create feelings of elation. Social contacts, particularly touch between parent and child, induce opioid release, creating good feelings that will enhance bonding. Eventually, the sight of a loved one's face stimulates surges. Some of my studies with babies with NAS, I ran into some information from the Yale Hospital about their work with mothers with NAS. And when they were able to provide rooms to the mothers and the babies so that they could be together and do skin-to-skin contact and get the babies out of the isolettes and into the mother's and father's arms, what they found was that the ratings on the Finnegan scale changed dramatically as soon as the baby was reunited with the parent. And so they realized that the babies were going through withdrawal, not just from the drugs that they were exposed to, but also from the parent who they had been connected to with oxytocin, pleasure hormones like opioids, endorphins, etc. So putting the two of them together substantially improved the state of the baby. Another piece of research, infants massaged regularly are more securely attached. So I think this was mentioned yesterday, perhaps in Vonda Jump's presentation, which was so excellent. So years ago in 1998, Vonda did her research study on infants and massaging them. She found that mothers who massaged their 12-month-old infants more than one time per week had infants who were statistically significantly more securely attached than infants of mothers who massaged their infants less than once per week. And they were more securely attached than infants in the control group who were not taught massage. It's really challenging to do research studies on attachment. And so this is a really good example of how children are affected by the warmth and the touch of massage. I also thought the research mentioned yesterday that by Vonda about babies that were carried in carriers shows that little changes in the lifestyle that we live with our child, which encourage more touch and more communication, make a substantial difference in the security of attachment and in the communication skills that children have. Another research study I ran into was infant massage classes can improve parenting practices, fostering healthy attachments between substance-dependent parents and their infant children, by Clausen, Aguilar, and Ludwig. Parents who attended a 10-week infant massage and parenting class showed decreased parental stress, increased knowledge of good parenting practices, better relatedness between parent and infant, and improved parenting self-efficacy. So infant massage class as part of a larger program to support parents can give them many more skills to do the work that they need to do with their families, particularly when there's challenges such as fostering or substance exposure. Infant massage provides foster and adoptive parents with the same benefits as families of birth babies. And that's generally how we look at special needs in our trainings in general, is that there are the benefits of infant massage extend to all children, but there may be special ones that are helpful for some children and their needs, and some families and their needs. Some important ones are supporting bonding and attachment, increasing production of love and family building hormones such as oxytocin, prolactin, and other family building hormones, helping parent to read the baby's cues, encouraging eye contact and serve and return responsiveness, helping baby accept nurturing touch and asking permission. So these are all important things that a baby would learn in the process of receiving loving touch and infant massage from their parent. Another story for you. Marla Morales from the Exchange Club Family Support Center in Downey, California, talked to me. Marla worked for 4 months with a foster family whose baby was drug exposed before birth. The baby would not engage and the baby's head would lean to one side with little eye contact. The baby did not cry even when in pain, and they thought the baby was unable to hear. At first, the baby only tolerated a leg or two in the massage, but the mom was very dedicated and worked hard with the baby on sharing infant massage. The child's pediatrician began to see the changes and was surprised when the neck muscles loosened up and the baby began to roll over and did not need the expected OT care that he had planned to provide. Now the baby is in the fast track for adoption with the foster family, is responding with no problems to sound, and is doing great. So it's an example of how infant massage affects many things in a baby's body, from the physical to eye contact to ability to express emotion. So many things happen. Let's look a minute at delayed bonding. What are the things that support delayed bonding? A vital thing in any kind of bonding is proximity. When the baby and the parent are together, the smells, the touch, the senses, the experience, the communication, all leads them towards bonding. I sort of feel like proximity is what puts the bonding relationship back on the tracks if it's been derailed. I've had some experience even with my own children who have been in hard situations in the first years of their life, where I wanted to make sure that they bonded with their child. And one of the most important things you can do is, if you see that the baby's across the room from the parent, pick up the baby, walk over to the parent, and put the baby in their arms again. And if 10 minutes later the baby and the parent are separated again, pick up that baby and put it back in the parent's arms. It's saying really clearly to the parent, this child belongs to you and belongs in your arms, and you're the one that's in charge of this baby. You're the one who knows what this baby's needs are. You're the expert on this baby. Eye contact is very important, particularly in the West. Parents like to be able to look into their baby's eyes and make eye contact, and that makes them feel that the child loves them and that they love the child. The sound of the voice is very important, and through our voices, I've seen so many occasions in classes where there's been a very sensitive baby, and when the parent leans close to the baby and talks to the baby about the massage and forms a little bubble between them and the baby, so that the rest of the class sort of gets moved away and eliminated from the baby's point of view, then that baby will relax and be able to tolerate touch so much more and make that connection so much better. Skin-to-skin contact is vital, and putting a baby on your bare chest is a wonderful way to help establish the intimacy of a new relationship and to continue it along the way. And of course, skin-to-skin contact in our massage. When we take off our baby's clothes and we give them a massage, we're really telling the child that they are in an intimate relationship with us and the rest of the family. Of course, with a child who has just moved into your household and maybe has experienced some challenging situations in the past, they may not be ready to take off their clothes or be ready to do this skin-to-skin contact right away. And so it's something you might have to work up to. Back and forth responsiveness and interaction, that serve and return is a vital part of creating a relationship with a child. They need regular care that can be counted on. A child is looking for the person who's going to meet their needs on a regular basis and who can be relied upon. Carrying a child in a carrier does a lot to promote bonding. That's why I love that research study that Vonda mentioned yesterday, where the parents who were given a carrier compared to the parents who were given a seat for their baby to sit in across the room. Those parents who had a carrier and used it were much closer to their child and did not show insecure attachment with the parent. Making the new child a part of your intimate family life. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. And avoiding separation while also caring for yourself. I think that babies who have lost their parents already are very disturbed by having additional separations. And so anything we can do to keep them together with one or more members of the family so that they feel secure, even when you need to go take a shower or something like that, does a lot to help them create a new bond that they can count on. Supporting communication is another important benefit to infant massage. It's possible that baby may speak another language or have never been talked to before they come to a foster parent or to an adoptive parent. So the words may not be familiar to the child, but they're used to reading faces and trying to define whether the situation they're in is safe or not safe. Good positioning is important. You see here in this picture, the father making eye contact with the baby, coming within the range that that baby can make eye contact and can see and read the face. One of the wonderful things about infant massage for many babies and parents is getting this in-face position that often doesn't happen easily in our lives, in backward-facing car seats and strollers and bouncers and swings. All of these things prevent eye contact and reduce communication. Observation of the child is vitally important because that tells us what the child's needs are. I like to say that babies do come with instruction manuals, and the instruction manuals is reading their cues. Serve and return interactions are vital because then a baby feels heard and they feel like they can talk. If somebody's listening to them, then it's worthwhile to talk. Just copying what a baby does is a really interesting thing. My husband is trained as a dance therapist, and one of the things that they were taught, particularly in working with children, is to mimic the movements of the person that they're working with and copy those and show joy and happiness at seeing those different kinds of movements. Learning babies' unique cues and how they respond to specific situations will take some time for the parent to do, but the more they observe, the more they pay attention, the quicker the back and forth response will be. Now I want to talk about creating a new family. This is a picture of my family, or some members of my family, my husband and my two youngest daughters, one of my grandsons and his father. When we're creating a new family, we're adding a child to a family, and that changes every relationship in the family. And I found that with every child that I added, is that every relationship in the family changed. In fostering, this change is not permanent, so there may be hesitancy to make the changes that are necessary to enjoy the new family member and include them in our family. Where there's extra care needs or increased challenges, there may be resistance on the part of the child, and also resistance on part of the parent to have to change their life so much for that child. Explore the fears of fostering or adoption that parent or family holds. If we are afraid of losing the child, if we have preconceived notions that we shouldn't bond with a child who's not our own, or that it's not doing a favor to the child to help them fall in love with our family, because they're going to have to leave at some time, then we need to explore these and resolve them. Expand the family intimacy to include the new child. Okay, here I had another chat brainstorm I wanted to do, but if I can't see the chat so easily, I can't do it. Maybe I don't want to try to share again. So we're going to look at what we do in our family that we do not do with others. What makes our family a family? Family intimacy is what makes a family feel one with each other. One of the things we do in families is we share food. And when we feed our babies with a spoon or with our fingers, that is an intimate act of family that tells our child that they are an important part of our family life. In our families, we often express feelings more than we do when we're at work or outside other places. So in expressing feelings, whether sadness, anger, happiness, pleasure, our other emotions, these are things that make our family wonderful for us. And sometimes they can make our family scary for us too. And yet that child who might be scared will stand up for their own family, because it also helps them feel a part of it. Skin to skin touch, like this father and baby here in this picture, is an important part of family intimacy in the first weeks of a baby's life. A lot of people will do skin to skin at the hospital because the hospital asks them to, but they don't feel safe doing it at home. And when a baby comes through an agency for adoption or fostering, you can feel like you can't really do these intimate things with that child. I remember covering up the fact that I was planning to breastfeed my adopted child with the agency that I worked at. You have to keep in mind that this was 40 years ago. Then finally, when she came to do the follow-up to the home study after the child had been placed to do the final papers on it, that's when we told her that we were breastfeeding the baby. Nudity, reduced modesty are a part of our family life. This picture on the right, this is not a picture that would be in a work-related journal or an academic journal. This is a family photo. It shows the intimacy of family life and the nudity and reduced modesty that we associate with family life. Sharing sleep in a safe kind of way is a way to bring somebody into your family and define their way. When I adopted an 11-year-old, she had never slept by herself before. So rather than put her in a room by herself, we just put a twin bed next to our king-size bed, which we already shared with our 6-year-old. And she joined our family for several months before she decided to move into her own room. Giving birth, of course, is a very intimate thing that establishes family. When you can bring older children to a birth, it does wonderful things for establishing bonding between them and their sibling. Breastfeeding is an important way to establish intimacy in the family. And I think that breastfeeding an adopted child is a wonderful thing. It stimulates their hormones in ways that other kinds of interactions don't. It commits the parent to that child and to a ongoing relationship with that child that doesn't separate for more than a couple hours at a time, because you have to be back to breastfeed the child. Caring is very helpful. We've talked about that before. Bathing together is a wonderful way for fathers and mothers to become closer to their child. My oldest child had startled a lot and had trouble getting in the bath because she startled so much. And when my husband figured out that he could take off her clothes and put her on his chest and slip into the bathtub and use a yogurt container to pour water on her to give her a bath, he became in charge of all the baths. And I think he bathed with all of our children when they were young. Affection, kissing, hugging, these are important ways that we share love within our family. Caressing, grooming. These are things we do within our families that show love. They fulfill needs, such as grooming. And they establish people as members of our family. Caretaking, of course, is very important. That's what we do in families. We take care of each other. You know, when our children are young, the parents take care of them. When grandparents come over, they give them a break and take care of the mother and dad and offer help to them. As parents get old, we take care of them. Saying I love you is something we do in families that we often don't do outside of families. Eating off the same plate, breaking bread together. These are important ways that we establish ourselves as family. Here's a story from Charlotte Wangan. She's a certified educator of infant massage that I trained over 25 years ago. We've kept in touch with each other over the years. This is a parent's story from Brazil, where she lives and teaches infant massage. And this is written from the parent's point of view, as she wrote it in an email, and I sort of edited it for smoothness. 25 years ago, we adopted our daughter. It was our first child, and we did not know how to proceed and how to create a bond with her. She depended on us, and our desire was to find everything that could help her be happy, secure, and healthy. We were gifted with an infant massage class. Each time our instructor, Charlotte, would come to our house, I felt more and more secure. The delicate physical contact with our baby awakened in me a world of sensations, full of love and gratitude for the opportunity to create a strong, affectionate bond. Each session was a moment of calmness, open heart, happiness, and lots of love. The massage was part of her growing up, and still today our contact is based on confidence, calmness, equilibrium that reflects the first moments of physical contact through the massage, a true blessing. So this person's remembered for 25 years that she massaged her baby and took an infant massage class. All right, so what if you're teaching infant massage to a family who's adopting or fostering their child? It helps to understand the child's history so you can add to your understanding of what that child's needs are. Ask about how the child shows stress and pleasure, says yes or no. The parents are the expert on their own child, and asking this question will help them think it through. Choose a time when the child has energy to spare for new things. Always look for the appropriate moment to do the massage, because that will help make it successful, as it does with all children. Be well organized and set up to avoid interruptions. Take the time to get permission and watch to see when that changes. Respect modesty and boundaries. Let the child guide you in terms of where they want to have touched, what kind of clothing they need, etc., in order to feel comfortable. Take delight in the ways the child is willing to accept touch. Don't have preconceived ideas about what this touch experience is going to be. Maybe it's not going to be massage. Maybe it's just going to be still touch. Maybe it's going to be a kiss on the cheek. Start with still touch and respond to baby's cues. The goal is a positive communication and touch experience. Observe and respond to the child's cues throughout the touch time. You might want to reflect back to the child in words what it is you're reading that they're feeling. Oh, it looks like you want to take a break right now, for example. That confirms to the child that they're being heard, or helps them clarify things and helps them learn to understand and use words. Stop the stroking whenever a child indicates that they are overwhelmed. Only return to stroking or touch when the child indicates willingness. And in the massage, as soon as the baby shows signs of being tired or overwhelmed, leave the baby wanting more, so that the next time you start, they're like, oh, I've been waiting for this. Juliana Perez is a certified educator of infant massage in San Antonio that I trained many years ago. She wrote to me, I do home studies and approve persons who want to foster and adopt. I educate while I interview these families. Many think that loves and hugs will heal children that come with traumatic experiences of abuse. For those children who do not know loving touch, a hug or touch is scary and are painful, as it may trigger a physical response of terror of what may come next. Even changing a diaper may bring on extreme reactions. Most important is a soothing, soft voice and tone to communicate safety, and it may take some time to build trust. But once it is built, safe touch can follow. Our brains learn from repetition, and little ones, especially in the foster-adopt system, need a consistent, predictable pattern of safe interactions to heal and learn that there is healthy, loving touch. I want to talk about some other suggestions for promoting a bond. For many years, I was on the Lelecia League list of people to contact if you wanted to learn about adoptive breastfeeding. And so I talked to many people who weren't quite sure whether they had the commitment to do it, but were there because they really wanted to bond with their child. So I like to share with them other ideas of activities to increase that bond. Bathing together, we talked about. Using lotion after bath may not be as demanding as a eye-to-eye contact, 20-minute together touch and massage experience. Skin to skin, kangaroo care, we've talked about. Carrying baby in a carrier. This next one was really helpful to me from a mom who had adopted several children. She said, allow the child to slip back developmentally to an earlier stage of their development and then remature in a more complete way. And that was one of the reasons that I chose to have my 11-year-old child that I had adopted from an orphanage that had closed down in Haiti. And I, by having her share the extended bed, have her bed right next to our bed, it allowed her to developmentally be back being a child. And I found other ways, if you can take the time to offer them their special foods, to rub their back, when they're sitting in a chair, to treat them younger than they are, and don't push them to be grown up, then they can go through that experience of growing up again. And when they do take on those mature activities, ways of relating to the world again, they're permanent for them. Safely co-sleep with a child, or keep them next to the bed so that you can just reach out a hand and pat them when they stir. Sleep with your baby on your chest for bonding time. This was an idea that came from an agency that I think that I explored working with it at one point in my own adoption process. And they brought children from India, I think it was, who had not formed a bond with anybody. And they suggested, they actually required that the parents sleep with the baby on their chest for the first 5 nights. They required that families stay home with the child for those first 5 days without leaving the child. And had other suggestions to get that bond established really early on, and let the child know that this is not just another caretaker, but a permanent family for them. Avoiding scents that would compete with the parent's smell, to allow them to get to know their parent's odor. Feed in the breastfeeding position, feed a bottle in the breastfeeding position, hand feed older child. Attend the birth if a child's being born in the area, and get baby as soon as possible after the birth. And this may differ from state to state and from mother to mother, what they're willing to do, and from agency to agency. I just want to tell you some other sources that you can do, and then I'll leave a little time for asking questions. There's an article on Infant Massage USA website called Using Infant Massage with Foster Parents by Cheryl Pratt, another person that I trained years ago. I'm not going to go into the detail on these. You can look them up themselves on the Infant Massage USA website. There's another article, How to Bond with Your Baby After Infant Adoption. This is, I found online at the Lifetime Adoptions blog by Marty Caldwell. She talks about skin-to-skin contact, baby wearing, infant massage, eye-to-eye contact, and feeding a baby at breast level. Some other ones that we've gone through today: promoting infant massage, promoting attachment in foster parents, intervening with foster parents to enhance biobehavioral outcomes among infants and toddlers, effects of infant massage and aspects of the parent-child relationship, and experimental manipulation with bonded jump. Bonding Matters, the chemistry of attachment. That's at the Infant Massage USA website also. And the ones I've just mentioned. There's also an article, A Story of Adoption, which I wrote on the Infant Massage USA website. And I found some information on adoptivefamilies.com that was very helpful. That's a membership one that you pay a fee for, but it seemed like it had an awful lot of great information. Okay. Okay, here we go. Hi, Stephanie. Hi,
that
everybody.
was wonderful. Thank you so much. So some of the questions that were asked was Miss Edwina asked, I'm interested in how to market this to the general population. How do we get this good information out to our community?
Are you looking at offering classes to families or presenting information to agencies and organizations? Because I can give you two different answers for that. Well, I'll talk about both.
Okay.
I'm going to share my. Is it okay for me to share my email? I have a booklet on marketing your infant massage class that's 28 pages long. And for people who want to reach out more and set up classes in their community, I think it's very helpful for thinking like a marketer and reaching out like a marketer and preparing materials to present and things like that. So that's called, I'll put it here in the chat, Marketing Your Infant Massage Class. And it's a booklet, and I have it as a PDF. My email address is jody.wright@infantmassageusa.org. And you can request it from me, and I'll just slide it on and send it back to you. The other question was, how about reaching out to people in other organizations? And there's some good information in that, and also some information on the Infant Massage USA website about great things to talk about and present to people about our work, and some really important things that that it's important to point out when you talk to agencies or organizations or groups of staff at the hospital or whatever situation that you're teaching people in. So as certified educators of infant massage can give presentations to the public, and this gives some great information on it.
Are you ready for one more question?
I am.
Lauren Collins asks, regarding the research identifying the 10-week classes that decreases parental stress, what parenting classes are taught in combination with infant massage?
They used infant massage, I think, as the basis of a parenting class. I would have to go back and read over the research study on that to get more detail about how they combine the two together. But I know that infant massage was the primary thing in that research study that they talked about, but they also talked about other things about parenting. I mean, the fact is that in our infant massage classes, we talk about all sorts of things having to do with parenting already in our classes. And yes, Mary, I have already given my presentation to Stephanie so that Infant Massage USA can share it in the wherever they're sharing things on here. Nice to see you, Mary. And Charlotte, Christelle, Don. Okay, so the link for the presentation is already there.
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay. Any other questions?
I'm just looking. Those were the two questions that were up in the chat. Moving Talk, thank you for the information. Somebody asked, would Jody be willing to share her slides? And up in the very top of this chat, I have a Google form that I can help. I'll email people a PDF of Miss Jody's slides. And just everybody was happy to hear your presentation. Thank you. It was wonderful.
All right. Okay, I'll be hanging around for a while, so if anybody wants to send anything to me, I'll keep an eye on the chat.
All right, and I'm off to networking, and after networking, Dr. Kirschenbaum will be talking in the next session, and so I'll be moderating that one. So